Super Mario 64 is the most popular speed game of all time, sitting at over 35,000 runs at the time of writing this. One of, if not the most popular category in this game being the 16-star run, wherein the runner completes the game as fast as possible while only collecting 16 stars instead of the usual 70 that the game wants you to. This run is known for its complicated routes and even more complicated skips. But would it be possible for someone to learn how to speedrun Super Mario 64 in only 10 days? Day 1 was essentially a prologue for what's to come. You see, before I embarked on this journey, I had never even loaded Super Mario 64, let alone actually play the game. And for that reason, I needed to learn everything. So I started by watching the current world record holder to, I guess, get an example of what could be. What the fuck did he just do? Call me crazy, this doesn't seem too hard. I think I got this. Oh, how the hubris affects the mind. Now, I'll admit, without even knowing how to move through the game, this wasn't helpful in the slightest. So I decided my next step should be watching this video by Drogi on how to complete a 16-star run. And while I'm sure that video was very helpful, I was getting a little too antsy and decided to try my hand at actually just playing the game. My main goal with loading into the game was to get the basic movements down, make learning the tricks easier down the line. Which means it looked a lot like this. And after running in front of the castle for no joke 6 minutes, just trying and failing to learn how to dive, I decided it was time to take this newfound skill I had of running around aimlessly to Bomb-On Battlefield, the first level of the game, where I was just as clueless. Now, if you've been paying attention to the gameplay so far, you've probably noticed my main method to getting around has been just jump kicking around the map, as to me that felt faster than running. And trust me when I say this, there's a good reason for that. I then went back to the streamer special, reacting. This way, I could learn as much as possible about the game. And after watching a quick movement guide, I returned to the game to put my newly discovered knowledge to the test. And I was successfully able to hit a long jump. But for some reason, the game just still felt off. Almost like I didn't have enough control over Mario's movement. Like for some reason, I was really struggling to gain the necessary speed to dive and not just jump kick. Feeling confident, my goal for day 1 quickly became not to just learn some of the basic movements, but to land bomb clip. So that started by watching a step-by-step tutorial from my goat, Drogi.
Left on the analog stick.
Okay, so you partially jump left, and then you land, move up a little bit, full jump. And once I felt prepared, I set a save state right before the start of the trick and got to work practicing. And after spending the remaining hour of stream and rewatching Drogi's video twice, I never once succeeded. So it was clear to me, hitting my head against the wall until I hopefully figured out a route and what to do was not going to work. So later that night, I was actually able to find a beginner route that didn't look too complicated. And I decided I was going to follow that route for the duration of the practice.
Here we go!
It isn't a high point in my life to admit that it only took one day for this challenge to completely consume me. This is so embarrassing. I shouldn't say this. I literally practiced the fucking bomb clip. I was watching Carolyn Kwan on Twitch practicing the bomb clip until my eyes were red and burning. Like, that is how intently I was trying to hit the bomb clip. So going into the second day, I had to cut my usual bullshitting with chat early because I was on a mission. Complete a 16-star run. In order to achieve this goal, I figured I would first segment the run, learn each star individually, and then finish it off by putting all the stars together into a complete run. The first 3 segments I wanted to do were Lakitu Skip, Bob-omb's Battlefield, and Womp's Fortress. Now Lakitu Skip, to rip the band-aid off now, doesn't happen. For some reason, I thought I would be able to just intuitively figure that one out, and I was wrong. Now, remember earlier when I said I had never played Super Mario 64 before starting this challenge? I don't think anything is more representing of that fact other than me literally dying trying to free the chain chomp on Bob-omb's Battlefield. You don't get how throwing the bomb is faster than breaking the chain? Because if you do it right, it clips you through and you don't have to worry about taking damage or dying. Like, I might die here. See? Nevertheless, on attempt 2, I was able to free the chain chomp and make it out and move on to Womp's Fortress to attempt, for the first time, the most infamous skip in all of Super Mario 64. Cannonless. So after watching a tutorial video frame by frame, very carefully monitoring the inputs, I failed the skip. And I continued to fail the skip over and over and over again, even dying in the process. Look, I'm learning, okay? During my attempts to hit Cannonless for the first time, I had to come to terms and admit a problem I was having, and I don't know how to best explain it. The game just feels off. Like, if you watch closely to the footage, I'm getting around mostly with long jumps, even when I really shouldn't be. And when I'm not using long jumps, Mario's just walking, like he's not gaining speed. And on top of that, it felt hard to turn Mario, like he was just too stiff. But at this time, I didn't think too much of it. I figured it was just something to get used to because it was an older game. I don't know. So I caved and I followed the Cannonless tutorial video step by step. And in this grueling process, it still didn't work. So I tried and I tried and I tried, and I just could not land Cannonless. Now, I genuinely wish that this part of our story has a happier ending. But the truth is, trying to land Cannonless this first time was the most frustrating experience out of the whole 10 days. And that was wholly because from watching the video over and over and over again, I knew what to do. I had the inputs. Backflip onto the bridge, punch, ledge grab, reset your camera, move up left, hold down. I was doing the inputs and all I was doing was failing. Not able to get the star. I just didn't know where I was going wrong. To be honest, I was flabbergasted, and I don't use that word often. Even I ended stream that day with these words. To be honest, chat, it's looking like I'm not going to fucking finish this speedrun. God damn. But I wasn't going to let that be my story. Oh no. I didn't want to be the person that just tried to learn how to speedrun Super Mario 64 in 10 days. Oh no, no. I wanted to be the person that did learn how to speedrun Super Mario 64 in 10 days. So I did what any self-respecting speedrunner would do. Sacrifice my sleep in order to learn a trick in a silly little video game that's almost 30 years old. And that's when I made my biggest discovery, damn it. A discovery that I am not exaggerating when I say it changed the challenge from being a Herculean task that would need an act of God to complete to a real, viable goal I could work towards. I slide it up. And I hit save. And then, all of a sudden, chat, the menu works. All of a sudden, my movements are a lot better. Yeah, that was it. That was all it took. And I was not only landing Cannonless, but overall, all the problems I was having with handling Mario and him not running and not getting enough speed were all fixed. So with this fix behind me, my goal for the day was to just get past Cannonless, which means it was time to learn a new trick, Wild Blue. Now this trick is incredibly simple. At its core, it's just some pathing and a wall jump. What I need to get better at doing for the kickflip is, oh my god! Yeah, this one took me about 2.5 minutes to get. Nothing too impressive here, honestly. The next star on the route is Womp King. Before I was able to defeat Womp King, however, I had to clear my next hurdle, a triple jump wall kick. Now, as I'm sure any experienced runner could agree, this triple jump wall kick is essential to any beginner SM64 run. And considering you need to land this one trick for not only Womp King, but also the following Tower Star and Owless, I'm kind of inclined to agree. The stairs, though, made it really tricky for me to land this initial triple jump. Like, it felt like the stairs kept blocking my jumps. Not to mention, this was my first real experience hitting a triple jump in a confined space. I mean, hell, look, I even fell off the entire map. But eventually, I was able to land the jump onto the platform. And surprisingly, I was able to beat Womp King like a pro without a tutorial. Not bad. I know. Okay. 4 stars down, 12 to go. Can't get much harder than this, right? Right? But the key to any speedrun is to not focus on all 12 stars, but rather the next one, the Tower Star. Tower Star is another easy one to just really skim right over. It's the same triple jump wall kick as before, except this time I climb a tower instead of fighting the Womp King, and also similar to Womp King, I was able to just intuit how to do it. Pretty impressive, I know. Next is Owless, or Owl Star. And no, I never hit Owless. We are owl enjoyers in this household. I also just don't know how to hit Owless. But may the owl live forever in our graces. And just like that, I'm through Womps and into Cool Mountain, or CCM. There are only 2 stars to get in CCM, and both of them are fairly complicated for someone of my skill level, admittedly. This is what I'm looking at. So you boot in. Huh? But it's okay. I got this. I dove. Yeah, this one's gonna take some work. It's now with 1 life left. I would like to mention that if it wasn't obvious while learning all of these stars and tricks on the whole route, I had yet to discover the practice save of Mario, so every time I got a game over, it was really a game over. So after a smooth 11 minutes, it was time to give this star another try. And another try. And another 4 tries, until I was finally able to land on this lower platform, where it then took me an astounding 3 minutes to actually collect the star. Now, Little Penguin Lost, I feel like, is one of those stars in the game that if you know what you're doing, it's incredibly easy. Second nature, almost. However, if you don't know what you're doing, it is a complete disaster. And for me, it was a complete disaster. Shit, I dropped the fucking penguin. Okay, wait, that trick's actually not that hard. Okay, so maybe not a disaster for my first time, but trust me, this star will come back to haunt me. Now, I'm just going to prepare you for this now. This next star, it's a rough one. Bowser in the Dark World, or Bowser 1. There's 2 ways to get through Bowser in the Dark World, with or without red coins. Pretty simple. The path with getting the red coins obviously being much more challenging and much more dangerous to attempt. But here's the thing with good old Revels here. I'm not one to just simply back down from a challenge. So I was determined to learn how to complete this level with collecting all of the red coins. And I'll be honest, didn't take long at all for me to see why some people elect to skip this red coin star. I mean, even just getting the first 2 coins was enough of a challenge for me to have spent 7 minutes to just collect them both without dying. Forget being able to do it in a way that I can replicate effectively. Coin 3 is easy. Just grab it on your way up the ramp. And after getting coin 4 on the moving cheese blocks, I died. So I rewatched the tutorial video of the route and tried again. And to be honest, I I went the rest of the stream without once collecting all of the red coins. But even after the countless failures on Dark World Reds, I was able to end the stream proud, knowing that in a single stream, I went from being able to collect 1 star to being able to collect 8 out of the 16 total. So in a perfect world, tomorrow we finish a speedrun for the first time, then we can spend all of next week optimizing and memorizing the route and optimizing the moves and actually have a fucking 16-star time. I decided going into day 4, the best course of action would be to start a fresh run every day. That way I could cement in the stars I had already learned, completing them faster so I can make more progress on the overall route while not forgetting how to do stars prior. So most of the first part of stream was doing stars I already knew how to do, but then stream crashed. And staying true to my word, when stream was back up, I started a new run. A run where I just so happened to do this. Oh my... Shit. And then it was business as usual up to CCM, where things went, let's just say, off the rails. Wait, isn't this a star? Wait, can't you get a star here? And I'll be honest, Low Penguin Lost was a genuine struggle for me this time. But after rewatching the tutorial video, I was eventually able to land it again and continue on to Bowser in the Dark Worlds. On my first attempt, I was able to collect 4 out of the 8 total red coins before forgetting to long jump to coin number 5. But eventually, after attempt after attempt after attempt, I was able to collect all 8 red coins, and for the first time, get star 9 on my journey. And then it was time for the first Bowser fight. For those of you that don't know, the first 2 Bowser fights are fairly simple. I mean, you just have to land 1 throw to win the battle and move on. But here's the thing. I didn't know how to throw Bowser. So with that being said, here's my first attempt at Bowser 1. You just get behind him, you grab him with B, you spin a lot, and then you time the throw. Oh my fucking god! Oh my god! Yeah, I mean, it wasn't too bad, right? After fumbling my way through the castle and around the basement, it was time for shifting sandlands. Now, I will admit, In the Talons of the Big Bird is a star I still struggle with to this day. Just something about like lining up right to not trigger the Shy Guy to move forward with aiming your jump, then your glide to hit the bird, and then you have to land on the pyramid. It's too much for my silly little streamer brain sometimes. Thankfully, though, there is a backup route that is much easier, a little slower albeit, but when your current attempts for the actual trick look like this, the backup is probably just a better option overall. 10 stars down, 6 to go. Next up is shining atop the pyramid. This star includes what is probably my biggest weakness in Mario to this day. Momentum. This trick involves gaining enough momentum on the slope to not only fight Mario from sliding down, but also to get him up and over the hill. And this was almost one of the quickest stars for me to learn. Only about 5 minutes until I made it over the hill. Until I slid off the pyramid and died, sending me back to the purgatory, that is the spawn platform. But luckily, it only took another 2 minutes for me to make it back over the hill and to collect the star this time. All in all, 7 minutes, not terrible. 11 stars down, 5 to go. The next 2 stars are super easy, so I'm just going to fly by them really quick. In Lethal Lava Land, you just ass damage lava boost over to the red coins, collect all 8 coins, and get a free star. Next, in front of Hazy Maze Cave, once you have 12 stars, a toad will spawn and give you number 13 for free. Now about that Hazy Maze Cave. This one, won't lie, was a struggle. This triple jump wall kick is so hard to me, it even spilled over into the next day. It was all the same at this point. Start stream by getting refresher on the stars up until the point I left off, then spend time on where I left off. And I went all stream, never once hitting this triple jump wall kick. And then it was finally on day 6, just tired and wanting to move on from this stupid star, I discovered an alternative. I'll admit, again, it is slower, but essentially, instead of going left through the door, you go right, do a kickflip onto a platform adjacent to the star, then just long jump over to the star. Finding this, I felt a huge weight off of my shoulders. After spending almost 2 full days on and off stream trying to get 1 star, finally being able to collect that star, even if my method is slower, was a big victory either way. So this is it, the penultimate star. After this, it's just 1 more star, 2 Bowsers, then a complete run. And that star, emergency exit. You just come across here. It's okay if you take damage. We're new to this. It's okay if you take damage. And then you just come over here. Okay. There we go. All right, what's next? Oh, what? That's it? Okay, it's now I have to admit. Remember when I said there were only 2 more stars in 2 more Bowser fights? I lied. I know. Put me in cuffs, take me to jail. But there's just one thing I neglected to mention. MIPS. MIPS is another one of those tricks that's either super simple or super difficult depending on who you ask. The breakdown is this. There's a bunny named MIPS. Once you catch MIPS, you can use MIPS to push Mario through the Bowser 2 door, which is usually locked until you get 30 stars. Understandably, I was a little nervous to try MIPS for the first time, especially after the disaster that was HMC. So I watched a quick video from my GOAT, Drogi, and attempted my first MIPS clip. Got him. And just like that, after only 5 minutes, I was through the door and ready for Dire Docks. You see, there's nothing too complicated about the single star that you collect from DDD. All you have to do is hop on the back propeller of the sub, side flip or jump up the sub and collect the star. There you go, 16 stars. Now, the only thing standing between me and victory, 2 simple Bowser levels. I handled Bowser 2 how I've handled most levels up until this point. Set a save state right outside of the level and followed a tutorial step by step. Now, it's definitely worth mentioning. For someone new to the game like myself, going from DDD to Bowser in the Fire Sea, there is a big difference in required skill. Come on. This is what insanity looks like. Now, in Fire Sea, there are essentially 3 floors to the level, and there are pretty much 3 ways to get from the first floor to the second. Option A, the option presented in this video. Option B, lava boosting off the side onto the landing platform, my now personal go-to. Or option C, the way Nintendo wants you to, or cringe, I call it. The second floor is pretty simple, honestly. You just play the game fast until you get to the ramp that takes you to floor 3. Now, most speedruns you see on platform 3 will do this thing where you balance Mario on the edge of floor 3 all the way until the end where you lava boost up to Bowser 2. Now, I'll just throw it out there. I was able to do this method my first time around, but later down the line, it was proved to be either too slow because of how afraid I was to mess up, or just generally inconsistent, and I would just fall off the platform. So I switched to an alternate version that involves just running through the obstacle course on floor 3, using a couple lava boosts to get it done, and it's a little easier. But that is all to say, it was time for more throws. Okay, come on. I mean, oh! Okay. Remember when I said I neglected to mention only one thing between star 15 and the end of the game? Well, I lied again. There was something else that I didn't mention, and it's probably what most people think of when you say Super Mario 64 speedrun. That's right. The backwards long jump. Now, in case you are somehow familiar with Super Mario 64 runs, but you don't know what a BLJ is, the name of it kind of gives it away. You long jump, but backwards. To be more specific, long jumping backwards while going up a flight of stairs allows Mario to gain backwards speed momentum and get up the stairs a lot faster, or even clip through another locked door. To do this, you need to press the A button at an astounding 600 beats per minute. For reference, this is what 600 BPM sounds like on a metronome. Needless to say, while this trick isn't mechanically hard like MIPS or HMC, it is still very tricky and very easily a run killer. I mean, just look how long it took me. For my first try, it took me almost 20 minutes to get the backwards long jump. The length of an entire run. Just one trick. But it was time for my last level and the final hurdle before battling Bowser one final time. Bowser in the Sky. This level is full of different tricks and skips. In a way, it's like the beautiful, perfect end to a speedrun, putting all of your movement skills to the test for you to get through the level as fast as possible. So I set a save state in front of the level and dove right in. Now, this is a good time to admit, I think going into this, I was striving for perfection. I never mentioned it once on stream, but my goal was to end the 10 days with not only a complete run, but a sub 20 run. And I think that's what drove me to stress over the little things more, like the beginning of bits. So this level was a lot of save stating and a lot of trying the same thing over and over again. I mean, look at this triple jump, for example. Even though I am clearly struggling, it took me a while to just give in and go up and around. But once I did, I accepted that I wasn't going to hit all the tricks immediately and decided when I felt it necessary, I would just play the game how it was intended for the sake of getting through the runs. I know, cringe, right? It's cringe. And with that new plan, it was time to put the game down for the night and go at it tomorrow with a clear mind.
Here we go!
Going into day 7, I decided to not restart the run. I wanted to get the final level done with so I could just start optimizing for the best possible time. So after struggling with the BLJs, I was back in the sky, watching the tutorial again for how to get through the whole level. Eventually, after over an hour of attempt after attempt after attempt, it was finally time for Bowser 3. Now, Bowser 3 is different from the first two. For one, you not only have to land just one throw, but 3. Also, after landing each throw, the platform you're battling Bowser on gets smaller and smaller, making it harder to throw Bowser onto the bombs correctly. So without any further ado, allow me to introduce Revels v. Bowser. Okay, I think this was my best shot. Yes! Okay, there's one. There's 2. Him landing on me's fucked up, I won't lie. No! A bit too late. Oh. I have no clue what you're talking about when you say Bowser's voice. My earbuds are not in. I don't know if you noticed. I do not currently have earbuds in. They fell out. I haven't put them back in yet. Okay, come on. Can't actually do anything with the grab. Oh, 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 oh. What's up, buddy boy? So there you have it. After 12 and a half grueling hours, mission complete, right? Well, not exactly. If you would so recall, the goal was to not just play through every level in a Super Mario 64 speedrun, but rather to complete an entire run and have a time I could upload to speedrun.com for all to see. Learning the route was merely step one. Step two was boring. It was just like setting up a live split layout. But step three was to put all my knowledge together into a run.
Here we go!
And here it is. The moment all of this has been building towards. My first official Super Mario 64 speedrun. Can somebody go on speedrun.com real quick and find what the slowest time is? If it wasn't obvious, I was just filled with confidence in myself. But what the slowest time was doesn't matter. All that mattered was putting my new skills to the test. And the question on my mind was, will I remember everything I've learned? Will I remember how and when to use the right movement to collect all the needed stars? Or would I crack under the pressure? Yesn't also doesn't answer the question. Chat, my palms are so fucking sweaty. Fuck. Okay, that's not a great start, but that's okay. I mean, bomb clip isn't essential to a good run, right? I got this one. Dude, I got cannonless in the bag.
Yes! Here we go!
See, there we go. That's exactly what I needed. There we go. Yeah, that was rough. That was rough. I won't lie. That's what I die on the first time? Oh, yeah, that's not too good. And to be honest, at the time, I knew that too. It really just felt like once the metaphorical seal was broken on dying, all of my confidence was shot. And not being able to get to the Womp King didn't help at all. Now, did I forget how to get the Tower Star? Yeah, but did I get it eventually? Of course, yeah, I did. Almost 12 minutes and I'm out of Womps. Not awful, especially for a first run, I would think, but I did want to save in case wall kicks ends the game for me. So how did it go? Was I able to land wall kicks? Well, kind of. Okay. After a quick penguin lost, it was time to once again tackle my biggest hurdle. Bowser 1 Reds. I know I'm gonna die on Bowser 1 Reds. Yep, there it is. Fuck. Hey man, at least I know myself well enough, right? And it didn't take long after that for me to get the game over screen, and all of a sudden I was racing back to the Bowser 1 door with 4 lives, ready to get back on the horse. Except that horse I landed on took me exactly where I started. Another game over. Not good. Before I knew it, I was 20 minutes in. I had collected only 8 stars and gotten 2 game overs. I had to do something here. I couldn't afford to keep dying on Bowser 1 after all. Now believe me, I know I wasn't reinventing the wheel or even competing for a world record or anything, but I was competing against myself. I wanted to prove to myself that I could do something as challenging as learning a 16-star speedrun in just 10 days, and more importantly than anything, I wanted a time I could be proud of, damn it. And at some point, I had to face the music and say that the run I was on just wasn't the run I was going to be proud of. So I reset, spilled some water on the ground, yes, that was essential, took a deep breath, and hopped into it with a fresh mindset. Oh my god, dude. And somehow that run was worse. I thought at this point, if I had any chance of completing a run, I was gonna need some motivation. You're a winner, kiddo. Don't you ever forget. And before I knew it, it was time yet again to complete an entire 16-star speedrun. I was pretty quickly able to fly past all the normal stuff. Struggled on bomb clip. Died. I died, actually, on bomb clip, but that doesn't matter. We won't stay on that for too long. After another reset, I got the star in Bob-omb Battlefield. Womp's Fortress had its ups and downs like normal, but overall wasn't terrible by any means. But then it was time for the fated wall kicks will work. And I won't lie, this one came down to the wire, pretty much guaranteeing me to have some sort of game over during the run, but I didn't care. All I wanted was a time. I just wanted to complete a run at this point. I didn't care if it was a sub 20 or the worst recorded time in Super Mario 64 history. And it was on Little Penguin Lost. It happened. Game over. But after probably overreacting, I hate this baby penguin with my livelihood. I got right back on the horse and went back at it. And after a handful more attempts, the little penguin returned to his mom and I could finally get back to Bowser 1 Reds. And no, it wasn't any easier this time around. But eventually, slowly, after getting another game over, I got all 8 coins. And this point, I was playing as carefully as possible. I mean, I even took the stairs up to the star instead of just doing a normal side flip. But regardless, it was time for Bowser 1. 1 missed throw. 2 missed throws. There we go. Fuck. Finally, dude. 3rd throw hits. Thank God. Bowser 1 done. After leaving Bowser in the Dark World, I wasn't feeling much more confident in my abilities. And let me say, In the Talons of the Big Bird was not helping. But thankfully, I did have my backup to make this star fairly painless. There isn't much worth talking about the next 2 stars, but then it was time for the hardest star in the entire run. Oh, it was Toad. Wow, was Toad. Thankfully, I was able to pull that one off first try. That one's a run killer. The entire basement section of the run still felt kind of alien to me. I wasn't as confident in my basement as I am the rest of the game. So I started saving after every star I was getting. That being said, HMC wasn't that bad. I got in and out of HMC in just under a minute and a half. And that's when, while saving after rolling rocks, I did this. While this was, yes, detrimental to my overall run, let's be honest, this wasn't a show-stopping run anyways, so the most it did was throw off grabbing Mips since I had to chase Mips from the entrance to the basement instead of the HMC door. I was, however, eventually able to grab Mips and take them to the door to clip through. And it wasn't until I accidentally walked through this door I realized I was trying to clip through the wrong door with the silly little bunny. At the correct door, it took me 4 grueling minutes to get Mips through this door. But I did eventually get to Dire Dire Docks with my time clocking in at a smooth 43 minutes. This isn't looking like too much of a speed run, is it? Thankfully, DDD gave me a normal amount of struggle, only taking 2 minutes. But now all that was left between me and a complete run were Bowser 2, BLJs, Bowser 3. This was it. I was in the end game. I ended up dying on Bowser 2 my first time through, but was able to do the side running trick on my second try through the level, but I only had 1 health. But 1 health is all I needed, baby. Easy clap, let's go, dude. The BLJs were difficult, but honestly, for nobody's fault but my own. I mean, for some weird reason, I was just not going all the way down the steps. But even after going to the bottom of the steps, I was struggling to hit the BLJs. I mean, look at me. They got me looking like Mizkif out here. But at the peak of my frustration, I had an embarrassing realization. Oh, I'm not holding Z. Oh my God. But yet, I still struggled to get through the door because, as a reminder, this is how fast you need to mash the A button. But I was eventually able to tap into the matrix and press the A button fast enough to get through the door. Just to have to do it again. Just look at that amount of focus. Okay, time for Bowser in the Sky. And before you comment, yes, I did forget to split when I completed my BLJs. Anyways, my plan was pretty simple. All right, I'm not risking shit on this. Now, this plan, for some reason, while it seemed good, went right out the window as soon as it came to the sliding platform part that I don't know the name of. Yep. So I decided to take the safe baby route and play the game how Daddy Nintendo wanted me to. But yet, in my hubris, I let off the gas for just a second, allowing myself to breathe, and God punished me for it. But no need to sulk in sorrow. I had a playthrough of Super Mario 64 to finish. So I went back in and had no problems moving at a sloth's pace through this level. And finally, after what felt like a lifetime of trying and trying and trying, it was almost time to put a ribbon on my first run. All that was standing between me and victory were 3 throws. They would be simple, right? My mind was so caught up in everything except the throw, I forgot to even talk. I was so focused on landing throws, yet so not at the same time. Landing the first throw was exactly the momentum I needed to get my groove back. It had been so long between Bowser 2 and this, I felt like I'd forgotten the feel and everything needed to land the perfect throw. Not to mention, I had only 2 HP left, so I had to be extremely careful. Honestly, the vibes were just off. If you ask me, the vibes were just off. But now, it was time to end this run once and for all. Except, I couldn't. I was crumbling under the pressure and couldn't land my second throw. It literally took me tapping into gamer mode for me to land that second throw. Thankfully, gamer mode is kind of unstoppable, and I instantly landed the final throw for a final time of 1 hour, 25 minutes, and 4 seconds. For the record, at the time of writing this, that ranks me number 4,086 out of 4,094 total runs, and the current world record set by Swiggy at 1435 could have been completed almost 6 times in the time it took me to complete this run. Not the best, I know, okay? You don't have to say that, but that's what the final day is for, okay? Going into day 9, I had a simple goal. I knew I could complete a run. It was possible. The information was in my brain to do it. Now I just had to do it faster. Since the goal of the day was to get a PB, I was playing it incredibly safe. I didn't want to risk a game over or even losing a life, to be honest. But even with me playing as safe as possible, I did mess up Cannonless twice, which was an unnecessary blow to my confidence early in the run. And I think it's easy to see the stress getting to me when instead of going to the wild blue star like I was supposed to, I tried getting up to the Womp King. I think it's time for a reset. Thankfully, the second attempt was off to a much better start. I still didn't hit Bomb Clip, but I did first try Cannonless. And I went to the left to Wild Blue instead of trying to get to Womp King again. So all in all, not a bad improvement already. So when it was finally time to get to Womp King, I scaled that hill like a pro and landed a pretty impressive Womp King time of just under 1 minute. At this point, I think it was pretty safe to say that I was not only on pace for a PB, but my confidence was back. All the knowledge was flooding back to me. After a simple tower and an owl, I was through Womps in a smooth 7 minutes and 25 seconds. Almost 2 full minutes off of my run from yesterday. All I had to do was keep up this pace and not mess up in CCM. Just get good, said a wise old man. You know what? Maybe that wise old man was onto something. And there we go. My lead just went from 2 minutes to 9.5. Overall, things are looking pretty good. But I still had yet to overcome my biggest hurdle. The split that was 13 minutes. Bowser won Reds. And on my first attempt, I collected 6 of the 7 coins, but died on number 7. So again, Bowser 1 stops my progress right in its tracks, doing the only thing it knows how, burning any possible time save I might have. How have people beaten this game in like a minute? I don't think anyone's beaten it in a minute. No! Maybe one of these days, I will master Bowser 1 Reds. But today, whenever I'm playing Mario, are you going to go see the Mario movie? Yes, I'm going to go see the Mario movie. Today is just not that day. But to save you the pain and suffering, this is what my Bowser 1 Reds split ended up looking like. And what was admittedly a much needed stress relief, between days 8 and 9, I had realized I didn't have a separate split for Bowser 1 Reds and the Bowser 1 fight, but rather they were the same split. And in adding the Bowser 1 fight split, I would no longer be able to compare the time I currently had to the time from yesterday. All I could do was play my little heart out and hope it paid off. Helicopter, helicopter, helicopter. Helicopter. And play my little heart out, I did. Until tragedy struck. You see, the Pyramid Star was sort of hit or miss for me in practice. It felt like I was either the master of it, or it felt like I was a goldfish flopping around on a controller. And sadly, on this day, the goldfish was feeling extra floppy. This level of flop actually caused me to game over, which normally wouldn't be a problem. Except I was so confident in how I was doing, the last time I saved was before Bowser won, which means I had a decision. I could either A, redo Bowser 1 and the first SSL star and hope I would land on a better time, or B, reset the run. And to my surprise, watching this footage back, I actually replayed those 3 splits, meaning after a quick trick to Lethal Lava Land, I was in HMC around the 29-minute mark, which was a lot slower than what I was hoping for. Thankfully, the gods of Super Mario 64 speedrunning gave me a fairly uneventful HMC, which means that I was still hopeful for a PB. Unfortunately, Bugs Bunny's jaundiced cousin was not so nice to me, but I did eventually make it through to DDD, and yet again, I could taste the end. DDD is another one of those tricky stars for me, and it's always a time sink no matter how many videos I seem to watch about this star. Thankfully, after some trial and error, I did collect star 16 with my total time being just under 18 minutes. Remember when I said earlier that because I added a split, I couldn't exactly tell if I was still saving time or not? Well, I would argue that being in Bowser 2 in 39 minutes puts me at a pace better than an hour. So the pressure was on. And at this time, I took it slow. Didn't go for any fancy skip to get to the second floor. Then I died on the third floor. On my second attempt on Bowser 2, I made a critical mistake. Yeah, I got in my own head and exited the whole level, meaning I had to re-catch MIPS and redo the MIPS clip. Thankfully, outside of catching MIPS, I was able to get both clips pretty easily, but that didn't solve the actual problem I was having. Bowser 2. But you know what they say, third time's the charm. Except this time. I died this time. Look, instead of trying to eloquently describe each death, I'll just show you this one. And let you know that Bowser 2 caused me to reset the run entirely at 51 minutes. Now, obviously the run had its usual suspects for my struggle, like Little Penguin lost, Talons of the Big Bird, but for the most part, the run kinda just looked like this. And before I knew it, even faster than the last time, I was back. And I know what you're thinking. Well, Revels, why don't you just play the game normally? Well, watch this. It's slower by a long shot, yeah, sure. The stakes were high, but my confidence was higher. But now, I had to make a call. Any fucking jumpers, chat? Oh my god, I'm beautiful. And yes, there were jumpers in chat that day. All that was standing between me and a PB at this point, Bowser in the sky. And for this level, I took 0 chances. If there was anything I was not 100% confident in, I did not take the risk. Now that did leave room for silly mistakes. And you know what we do in these parts? Long jump this shit. We just go right across, baby. Right the fuck across. We're not gonna act like I know how to get on that pole. That would be a ridiculous sentiment when I could just do this. But I mean, other than that, it was pretty clean Bowser in the sky. So once again, all I had to do was land 3 final throws. PB, if I somehow fuck up this PB, we have big problems. I think if I fuck up this PB, maybe I wasted 10 days of my life. Nope, that's not gonna hit. Oh! Chat, you were here. You were here. So there we go. After only 10 days, I was able to go from never touching Super Mario 64, the most popular speed game in the world, to beating it at only 42 minutes. However, the story does not end here, but rather, this is only the beginning. The next challenge I face is still one I face to this day. The only question is, can it be done? Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to subscribe.